Reddit, he looked perfect on Tinder. Until I heard the crawl space. I'm 24 years old, and I recently moved into a rental house in rural Oregon to make things easier for my remote graphic design job. It's a classic American country house. A huge, tree-lined yard, completely isolated from the neighbors, and of course, a crawl space right underneath the house. The landlord told me it was only used for old plumbing. Living alone in such a spacious place got a bit lonely, so I hopped on Tinder. That's when I met Ethan. Ethan was the absolute definition of every girl's dream guy. He was 28, a software engineer, highly intellectual, wore thin-rimmed glasses, and was incredibly polite and well-spoken. He wasn't pushy about sex like most guys on the app. We dated for 3 weeks. But that's also when things started getting weird. Looking back, I was too naive to see the massive red flags of a predator. First, there was the subtle gaslighting. Sometimes I'd notice things in the house had shifted slightly. A mug placed on the wrong shelf, a couch cushion flipped upside down. When I mentioned it to Ethan over the phone, he sounded so genuinely concerned. "You've been so stressed with work deadlines lately, babe. Let me order some herbal tea and send it over." He made me believe I was just being paranoid. Second was his bizarre obsession with my living space. Every time he came over, Ethan could never just sit still. He'd constantly look around, asking detailed questions about the house's layout, whether the walls were soundproof, and especially, he asked about the hatch leading down to the crawl space at the end of the hallway. And finally, the terrifying coincidences. One time, I went to a supermarket 10 miles away without telling him. As I was walking through the dim, hollow parking garage, my blood ran cold. There was Ethan, standing right behind me out of nowhere, offering a polite smile. Oh, what a coincidence. I was just grabbing some things too. Everything culminated last Friday night. Ethan and I were having dinner at my place. The entire evening, he kept staring at my neck. The usual intellectual warmth in his eyes was completely gone, replaced by a raw, hungry look that made my skin crawl. When he went to use the bathroom, his phone lit up on the table. I glanced over. It was an encrypted chat group on Signal called The Underground Observation. The latest text from an anonymous account read, "Camera angle 3 is blurry, bro, fix it." And Ethan's reply right above it said, "Don't worry, I'm turning off the lights tonight to secure the camera. The prey is about to go to sleep." My heart stopped. In an instant, I understood his motive. He didn't love me. He was a sick, voyeuristic predator who stalked single women, installed hidden cameras, and turned their lives into a twisted reality show for degenerates on the dark web. I faked a severe, agonizing stomach ache, crying and begging him to take me to the hospital immediately. Though clearly frustrated, Ethan couldn't refuse my sheer panic. The moment he stepped up to the reception desk to check me in, I slipped out the back door, called an Uber in the dark, and rushed back home to pack my things and run. It was 2 a.m. I locked the front door and bolted every window. I threw myself into the bedroom, frantically shoving clothes into a suitcase. I just wanted to get out of this house. Suddenly, the dead silence of the countryside was broken by a sound. Thump. Thump. Creak. It didn't come from the front door. It didn't come from the windows. It came from right beneath my feet. The hollow sound of wood tapping against wood, right under my bedroom floorboards. It was faint but steady, like someone was dragging their body through the cramped, damp crawl space underneath, trying to pinpoint exactly where I was standing. I froze, the breath catching in my throat. Right then, the phone in my pocket buzzed. It was a text from Ethan. My love, I went back to the house to look for you, but you weren't there. Where did you go? Actually, it's fine. I just realized, I like it much better down here. It's so warm, and I can hear your footsteps so clearly. I stared blankly at the screen. And right at that second, a realization hit me that made my blood turn to ice and every hair on my body stand on end. If Ethan was texting me from somewhere outside, then who the hell was crawling under my floorboards right now?